Hello everyone, today I'm in St. Albert, Ontario, and I'm going to take you on a fun tour of St. Albert cheese. There's all kinds of fun stuff to see here, from a cheese factory to there's some fascinating museum information, there's a store and restaurant to explore here today. So let's go check it out. I'm here in January, so it is a bit quieter. So we can get to see everything here in more detail. So on the outside, you can see that you can sit, and there is, so on this side you can actually get ice cream. And there's more seating on the other side over here. And there's some super cute cow decor. There's this lovely mural. And over there, there is a cow. And I'm just going to show you. So here are the hours. All right, let's go inside. All right, so as you come in, see, so there is a restaurant with tons of seating. This is where you would buy the food. And on the other side, there is the store. I will explore all these in more detail later. First, I want to show you this super interesting mural, which illustrates all the founding members of St. Albert Cheese Cooperative since 1894. I'm going to show you all their pictures and names. So this place has long-standing history. And on this plaque here, so it says this building, constructed following the February 3rd, 2013 fire, was inaugurated on February 3rd, 2015 by the Board of Directors of the St. Albert Cheese Cooperative, Inc. in the presence of several dignitaries, partners, friends, and members of the co-op. All right, go upstairs and I'm going to show you the factory. So it's really cool. You can see there's all these glass windows where we can watch the cheese being made. And then there's all kinds of interesting plaques with information to learn more. And so here's one vantage point of the factory. So I will walk around and you'll be able to see lots more. And then on my left here, there's all kinds of interesting facts for us to learn. So, St. Albert since 1894. So, the milk we use comes from cows raised on our members' dairy farms located within a few kilometers of St. Albert. Cows need a nutritious and balanced diet to produce good quality milk and to remain in good health. All right, so here's another vantage point of the factory. So you can see over here, this is kind of the end point of the process where they package the cheese. Right, so above, so very early in the morning, delivery trucks hit the road to bring our delicious St. Albert cheese to thousands of points of sale across Canada. Right, so let's continue on here. Let's keep reading. A milk producer starts work very early in the morning, 7 days a week. Cows have to be milked at least twice a day, every day. One cow produces around 40 liters of milk per day. Milk is approximately 88% water. The remainder is mostly protein, fat, minerals, and lactose. Around 10 liters of milk are needed to produce 1 kilo of cheese. The milking machine pumps fresh milk into the dairy farm's storage tank to maintain its freshness and high quality. The temperature of cow's milk at source is 38 degrees Celsius. It is quickly cooled to around 4 degrees Celsius on site. Every day, a refrigerated tanker truck collects milk from the farm and delivers it to the cheese factory. All right, so I'm going to show you another vantage point of the factory. And you can see the packaging process there. There's a really cool conveyor belt there. All right, so above me, there's more information. Our excellent cheddars are carefully selected and placed in a temperature-controlled maturation room where our master cheesemaker can keep an eye on them as they age. Every few months, the cheese is tasted by specialists with expert taste buds to ensure that it meets St. Albert's superior quality standards as it evolves from a medium cheddar to a more mature variety, depending on the inventory situation. St. Albert cheddars sometimes reach 10 years of age, a rare delicacy. Check out this cow. How cute is that? He's scratching himself. So cows have a gestation period of 9 months, just like humans. Oh, that's interesting. They can give birth to up to 2 cows at a time. On hot summer days, cows may drink more and eat less, just like humans. Cows sleep for only 4 hours a day. However, they may lay down to rest for up to 11 hours. There are 7 types of dairy cows in Canada: Holstein, Jersey, Ayrshire, Shorthorn, Guernsey, Brown, Swiss, and Canadian. Holstein is the most popular breed on farms in Eastern Ontario. My apologies if I pronounce any of those incorrectly. In our peaceful corner of Eastern Ontario, local dairy producers share the same daily passion: raising cows that will produce the main ingredient of a recipe that is over a century old and has burnished the reputation of the St. Albert Cheese Cooperative since 1894. Milk. At St. Albert Cheese Cooperative, all our cheeses are made from milk locally produced by dairy farmers from around the region, just as the cooperative's founders did over 125 years ago. Within approximately 24 hours, the milk produced by cows on neighboring farms is transformed into St. Albert cheese. It is then packaged and shipped to your grocery store for unbeatable freshness. This is made possible through the efforts of dozens of dedicated employees who work 7 days a week, 363 days a year, except for Christmas and New Year's, to make and distribute your favorite cheddar. All right, so I'm going to show you another vantage point of the factory. All right, let's carry on. All kinds of interesting information to learn. I'm certainly learning a lot of new stuff here today. Oh, interesting. Look at these photos. So 1894, 1949, 1950. So, did you know that the St. Albert Cheese Cooperative is one of the oldest cooperatives in Canada? At the end of the 19th century, master cheesemakers in a charming Eastern Ontario village were making a high quality cheddar, the St. Albert. Dairy producer and founding president of the cooperative, Louis Genier, and his 9 partners could hardly have imagined back on January 8th, 1894, that their little cheese factory would shape the history of the entire community and become a veritable institution. At the time, there were lots of local cheese factories, and the one in St. Albert was registered as the St. Albert Cooperative Cheese Manufacturing Association. This even before the famous Desjardins cooperative movement was born in 1900. Today, the St. Albert Cheese Cooperative is the only one to have survived in Eastern Ontario. Little is known about the cooperative's first 45 years because the first book of minutes is from the late 1939. We know that the cooperative was sold to an individual in 1931, although we don't know why, and that was bought back by its members in 1939 for $8,500, which included the building, the 1-acre property, and the equipment. In 1950, the cooperative inaugurated a brand new building, the Plan Laitier Cooperative St. Albert, an imposing and modern building in its day where butter and cheese were made. And so it says the Centennial and the Curd Festival. In 1994, the St. Albert Cheese Cooperative struck a special committee to prepare for its 100th anniversary. Roger Kayer, a resident of St. Albert, wrote a book about the history of the cooperative entitled Souvenance de la Fromagerie, number 743. A great deal of research went into this book, which is filled with information and period photographs. Another highlight of the 100th anniversary was the first edition of the Curd Festival. And there is the website address if you want to check it out. Okay. I'm going to give you another vantage point of the factory. Right here is interesting. You see how it's like shaking? And then you can again see the conveyor belt going up. There is another information placard up above me. So, did you know that a 10-meter tall molding machine can contain up to 35 blocks stacked on top of each other? Each block weighs 19.5 kilograms. In a single day, we can cut and package up to 7,500 pieces of cheese of various sizes, of which 1,800 are handmade. Huh, that is super interesting. There's a close-up of the photo. Okay, let's keep going. Here's some more information. So from 1994 to 2012, so between 1994 and 2012, the cooperative invested millions of dollars to increase its production capacity and its markets. Today, St. Albert's cheeses are distributed across Canada, and every year, hundreds of thousands of visitors stop by the St. Albert shop to buy its delicious cheeses and local products. In 2009, the St. Albert Cheese Cooperative purchased Fromagerie Mirabelle in Saint Jérôme, Quebec. Over the years, many of the cheese products made in St. Albert have won prestigious awards in national and international competitions, including the Royal Agriculture Winter Fair of Toronto, the British Empire Cheese Show, and the Canadian Cheese Grand Prix. In 2012, cooperatives employed 150 people, all driven by the same commitment to quality and freshness, the foundations of the company's success and of its famous cheeses. So on February 3rd, 2013, the St. Albert Cheese Cooperative building and equipment were completely destroyed by a devastating fire. Over the next few days, production was quickly moved to other factories so that the cooperative could keep supplying its loyal customers. Some of the employees were redeployed to the St. Albert Primary School and to the community center's basement. The Caisse des Jardins and the Presbytery offered space for meetings. The entire community came together. The cooperative's craftsmen pulled out all the stops to rebuild the factory. On August 11th, 2014, operations start resuming just in time for the Curd Festival on February 3rd, 2015. 2 years to the day after the fire, the new state-of-the-art facility are officially inaugurated with greatly increased production capacity. Employees are united by their single-minded determination to make it through this difficult period. Every last one of them is focused on pursuing the tradition of making the best cheddars in the country from pure Canadian milk based on our cheesemakers' time-tested recipes. These recipes being the very same ones that earned the Co-op the prestigious Grand Champion Cheddar Cheese Award for its extra mature cheddar at the 2013 and 2014 British Empire Cheese Shows, and first prize for the best extra old cheddar matured for more than 3 years at the Canadian Cheese Grand Prix in 2015. In 2021, the Co-op won the first place for the best medium colored cheddar at the British Empire Show. All right, so I'm going to show you these photos. So this is what it looked like before the fire. This is what it looked like during the fire. That is really sad and terrible that that happened. And then now, so this is what it looks like today, where it was rebuilt. All right, let's keep going. Show you another window here. You can see another vantage point of the factory. Okay. Transportation. The milk from neighboring dairy farms is transported in refrigerated tanker trucks to the cheese factory. On average, one truck can transport 38,000 liters of milk from several neighboring farms. Before being pumped into our silos, the milk is carefully tested to ensure that it does not contain any antibiotics and that it meets the cheese factory's superior quality standards. And I love this cow. How cute is that? Be fun to get your picture taken with it. And you can see you got the old-fashioned bucket for collecting the milk. Right. So throughout here, I should point out that there are a bunch of TVs. That show you in more detail what happens throughout the whole cheesemaking process. Here's another section of the factory. So, pasteurization. After undergoing rigorous quality analysis, the milk is sent to the pasteurizing machine where it is heated to destroy certain microorganisms that may be naturally present in the milk. So there's more windows over here, so you can really get to see every angle of the cheese making process. Super interesting. So the milk is pumped out of the pasteurizing machine into one of 5 large containers known as curd vats, where the milk is heated and coagulates. The cheese maker adds a bacterial culture that is left to work for around 45 minutes. Vegetable rennet is then added. This natural ingredient helps the milk to coagulate. After sitting for around 30 minutes, the milk takes on a jello-like texture and forms what is known as curd. The curd is then cut into pieces, heated for around 30 minutes, and stirred for around 15 minutes. Here is a photo. More interesting information here. So did you know that the drivers of milk tanker trucks receive what is known as organoleptic training? This means they can detect any anomalies in the milk by using their sense of smell and verifying the visual appearance. Here is a image. So Louis Pasteur invented pasteurization in 1863, just 30 or so years before St. Albert Cheese Cooperative was founded. On average, the cooperative receives over 120,000 liters of milk a day and needs 22,000 liters to produce about 2,200 kilograms of cheddar cheese per vat. The whey is drained off and virtually eliminated during the cheddaring process. Starting with 22,000 liters, nearly 20,000 liters of whey are squeezed out per vat. Following a reverse osmosis treatment to remove its water content, the whey is sold to companies that value its high protein content. The recovered water is reused in the factory during various stages of the equipment washing process. Okay, so here's another window where you can see factory. Oh, interesting. So at various times this conveyor belt is working on and off. Right now it's off. And there's more windows on this side where you can see the manufacturing of cheese. Wow, can you see over there? It's bright orange cheddar cheese. And there's equipment that is like stirring it. Fascinating. I've never seen cheese being made before. All right, so this explains it. So when the curd is ready, the cheesemaker gives the signal to transfer it to the other section of the factory via a pumping system. The curd is poured into large containers known as draining tables and stirred using rotary mixers. This facilitates the draining process and solidifies the curd until the desired texture and acidity are reached. This process usually takes 30 to 60 minutes. Here's the image. Right, so there's a bit more so you can get a better vantage point from this window. So the next stage is known as piling and cheddarization, which takes approximately 90 to 120 minutes. Piling involves manually pressing the curd on each side of the cheddaring table to remove the whey. The curd is then cut into blocks weighing approximately 22.5 kilograms, 50 pounds, and stacked. To drain off the whey, the blocks are turned and folded over every 15 to 20 minutes, up to 5 times. This manual process serves to firm up the cheese and to obtain the desired consistency, including that magical squeaky texture. Wow. So even though we've got machines, it's definitely still a manual human process. Right, one more information placard. So during this stage, which is called cutting and salting, the cheese curd takes on its amusing shape. Thanks to the employees who put the curd through a device similar to that used to slice French fries, which gives it its final shape. The curd is then hand salted and stirred using mixers. Here's a close-up picture. All right, so we have finally finished exploring the factory. All right, so now I'm going to take you back downstairs and I'm going to show you what kind of food you can get at the restaurant and buy at the store. All right, so now we're at the restaurant part where you can get food, and it's right next to the front entrance. So there is a great menu up here, but this is also super handy. There is a digital information board. So up close, I'll show you what food you can buy here. So this screen will keep changing to other information. So I'll just wait 1 second so you can see more. Go. So we got classic Canadian poutines, burgers, and the cheese in all these foods is St. Albert's cheese. So if you want to get to experience it firsthand, you can definitely have some here. So you can also get sandwiches, ice cream. There is a children's menu and beverages. All right. So lastly, I'm going to take you on a tour of the store. So there's all kinds of things you can buy in here. You can even buy some fun cow art. That could be kind of fun to decorate my home with some cow pictures. I also really like this one with the dogs. How cute is that for Christmas? But what we're really here for is, of course, the cheese. I'm going to show you some of the things you can buy here. So I don't know what your favorite types of cheese are, but mine I would say are mozzarella and cheddar. I do love to buy the mixed. I use that a lot. So you can buy these huge bags of them. That's the price. So you get everything from mild. Again, I'll show you some of the prices. So for this size of brick, $47 Canadian. This size, let's see here. This size is $9.91 Canadian. So we've got, now we're into the mediums. So the first case was mild. These ones are mediums. So you can also buy these large bags of shredded cheddar cheese. There's the price. And then next you can buy large bricks. Again, so these size, this is the size of these ones. And the price, and that's old cheese. Oh, so this is their specialty is cheese curds. So look at this huge bag you can get. And let's see here. So here is the price of the 2 kilogram bag. These, everything in this section is, so now we're into extra old. So there's old and extra old. And here's the age, so 10 years. Right, so they're restocking this section. So Monterey Jack, that's the price for the giant shredded bag of it. Oh, and now we're into pizza mozzarella, one of my favorites. Oh, and they've also got Monterey Jack. Let's see what prices are. So for this size, the price is $6.80. So we've got some other interesting types. So Montebello, and the price of this is $6.42. Let's see, anything else that's interesting? So there's some other types of stuff like pepperoni sticks. Oh, these might be interesting. Crispy pork rinds. Oh, this is also interesting. I didn't notice. Maple ginger. Never had maple ginger before. Some interesting different flavors I've never had before. Here's another one that's interesting. Big dill spicy. Okay. So, besides cheese, there's all kinds of other, just other stuff that you would expect to find in a supermarket. Got everything from chips to spices, sodas, Over here, they've got all kinds of, okay, so they've got some gourmet ketchup, buffalo sauces. So definitely some brands that I don't normally see in the regular grocery stores that you can get here, which is kind of interesting. Like these ones are super interesting. Angry Cat barbecue sauce. Here's the price. We've got some teriyaki sauces. Oh, we've got, now we're into like dips, buffalo cheese and bacon and guacamole. Oh, and they've got some hot sauces. Huh, interesting. The names of some of these. Mario's Kick Pineapple Extra Hot. Ooh, Muskoka. Muskoka brand gourmet garlic sauce. Ooh, I might like that. I love garlic. The price is $8.99. These are also interesting. Oh, they even have olives here. Pickles. Relish. There's some interesting relish. And there's the prices. We got chili sauce, pickles. Oh, there's got some interesting. So pizza drizzle, infused oil. There's the price. Wow, you can definitely get some super interesting things here. Balsamic vinegar, sesame seed oil, white balsamic, pear and cranberry. That sounds delicious. Different olive oils. Oh, you can even get some tea and some desserts. Oh, just some raspberry pretzels. And then there's a freezer section, so you can get ice cream. Wow, so big tub. So this giant tub is only $5.99. That's actually, oh, here's another one. Sorry, price of $6.99. So some are $6.99. I think the ones on the bottom here are $6.99, and then the ones on the top are $5.99. So that's actually a great price for that size of ice cream. Okay, and then there's some frozen foods here. Tortilla, turkey pie. Here's some other pies. Strawberry pie. And prices, so strawberry pie, $10.99, so decent prices. And then you've got some like prepared meals. Oh, no, it's empty right now, but they do sometimes have gelato. And there are sausages. Oh, they even have pasta. So small lasagna, $16.99. Local frozen products. Oh, they've got some nice gift baskets that make a great gift, and there is St. Albert cheese in them. So those are a great gift idea for something special. Wow, we've got pickled eggs. And then there's a drink section. Oh, I've never heard of those before. A lumberjack sparkling water. So some interesting different drinks I've never seen before. Of course, all your classic cups. Oh, look at this. These are interesting too. $2.99. You got mixes, drink mixes. This might be good. Sparkling cranberry. Oh, this sounds delicious too. It's like a vodka tomato sauce. And price is $10.99. Oh, and then you got all kinds of like interesting treats here. Nachi. Love nachi. Right. That gives you a good idea of what you can find here. So you can definitely find some very interesting brands that you can't find in your regular grocery store. And then there is a deli here. So you can get eggs. There's the price. Deli. The cow's cute. It is the end of the day, so it's a bit empty. All right. I think that gives you a good idea of what's in here. So I think we are coming to the end of our tour. Yeah, just noticed you can also get jams here. I love strawberry jam. So there's the price of the jam. All right, I think that does it. I think that gave you a good idea of the tour here. All right, and then as I said, on the other side there is tons of seating. If you decide to buy a meal here, you can sit here or you can sit outside. Right, so again, I hope you enjoyed this tour of St. Albert cheese. It was a lot of fun getting to learn all about how cheese is made and learn the history of this place. I learned definitely some new things. And all the food here looks super delicious. I definitely would recommend giving that a try as well. I'm definitely myself, and as soon as I'm done here, I'm going to go buy some cheese. All right, so if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you enjoy videos about things to do in Ontario, Canada, please subscribe to my channel. Until next time, happy travels!